Hi, I'm Claudia Brown Coulter with Pivotal Peace. I'm your go to mediator for navigating divorce while parenting children with special needs. I'm also a legal document assistant, LDA, based in the greater Los Angeles area. Let's talk about getting a divorce when your spouse is missing out. I don't mean something has happened to them, I mean they don't want to be found by you. You don't know where they're living. How do you do that? Can you do that? Absolutely. Absolutely, you can get divorced in that situation. There are steps that you need to go through. And if it is that situation, this is where you're probably going to need to get some legal advice. You don't necessarily have to start that way, but you may find the fact, like as you're trying to find your spouse to get them served, that you can't find them. What should you do? Well, you've got to do your best to find them. I'm talking to people and I'm like, okay, you need to serve them where? Okay. Because nothing happened in the mail, right? We served them through the mail, no response. We hire a process server. Oh, there was this one process server. They were a little gruff, but they were good at what they did. So they attempted service at this particular residence for a while. And then they talked to the owner of the property and they were like, no, I think they moved a couple months ago. So this process server found a new address. They found a new address and served there. Well, they weren't there. And when I had gone to the spouse and said, okay, the process server found this new address, the spouse said, yeah, I think that's her mom's place. Okay. I haven't heard from that spouse. That wasn't her mom's place. They don't live there. But when I asked him, okay, well, do you want to go on Facebook? Are you friends with any mutual friends? Anyone? He wouldn't do it. This isn't a diligent search. You've got to reach out. There's got to be somebody in that family that still likes you. They will tell you. Or they so done with you, they'll take your call so that they can help their niece or their goddaughter get a divorce or whoever. You're going to find someone to help you or a mutual friend. This isn't a service of like, ooh, boo. This is, hey, here's divorce papers. Like, I know you can't be surprised or even saddened about them because we are so separated. I don't even know where the F you are. This is not a surprise, people. This is not a surprise. You need to do a diligent search. You've got to really talk to people. You got to look at public records. Do you remember where they work? Do you know where they were after? Are there coworkers that maybe you guys hung out with that might know that information? Do you need to hire a PI? Maybe. To help you find that person. This isn't so that you can spy on their life. It's so that you can legally end your marriage. If all of this doesn't work, then you may need to do a service by a publication where you put specific legal notices in the newspaper, and over a certain period of time, you prove it to the court, and then it's like, okay, great. Well, they're not responding, so the judge can grant you a default. This is why you need legal advice, because you need the advice of a lawyer. And also, like, who reads the newspaper? I don't even know. I'll read some online articles, but okay. But the court does what the court does. But you can be granted a default divorce. Sometimes we talk on this channel about a default with an agreement. That is not what this is. This is a true default. This is your spouse cannot be found. So we are actually divorcing them. That's what this is. And the judge is like, okay, well, they can't be found. You've done everything you could to find them, so let me grant this divorce. But they can't be found. So you can't negotiate with someone who is not there. You can't do it. Can't do it. So another step that happens when you realize, okay, I've got to go through a true default. The other things I've told you about some of the step 2 forms, specifically the 142, that kind of goes out the window. You got to look at the 160, where you are really putting very very detailed. The 142 doesn't get filed with the court, but the 160 does, because it is very detailed about what is separate and what is community, so that the court can make decisions based off of this initial set of paperwork. They're not going to allow you to change your mind like, oh yeah, you know what, Your Honor, I can't find him. So I want this, this, and this. You've got to lay all of that out at the very, very beginning. So yes, it is absolutely, absolutely possible to get a divorce if your spouse is missing. But the key, if you don't retain an attorney, fine, but you need to get some consultation time. You got to get some time with an attorney so you can get some legal advice to make sure you do this the right way. The other thing you need to know is that it's going to take you longer. Diligence has to be served. There has to be time to prove that you did your due diligence to find them, and time for them to stumble across a publication in a paper that for some unknown reason they actually picked up in real time. Like, there has to be time. So it's not impossible. Don't lose hope. Just know that this is a different route. So be prepared. An attorney is going to be your guide down this particular route to divorce. You can do it. It is not impossible. You just need to be prepared. So gather all your financial information now. Think about who you know, who you knew. Swallow your pride. Find them. Find that spouse. Get your divorce.